Hey everybody, here we are in Houston, Texas in Zone 9A, sort of pushing the end of August, and right here is a really beautiful view, but the rest of this video will just be entitled Gardening Disasters. And here's a kitty who took no time at all getting in the frame. Hello, Mrs. So we went out of town for a couple of days, and because we didn't want our house sitter to have to mess with the garden, we turned the sprinkler system on, which we don't do very much. Oh, neighbor kitty. Hello, pumpkin. And what happened was the sprinklers did not turn themselves off. So we don't even know how many hours the sprinklers were on before we got home to 3 inches deep of water and it pouring over the side across the walkway, and there's a little drain right there just washing down. And so of course then it has rained a half an inch or more this week since that happened, but we started to see the effects within 2 days of all of that rain. So you can see all of that water anyway. The plumbago was not bothered at all. And the zinnias seem to be fine with it. And this rose bush has been through a couple of hurricanes and it's fine. But this salvia amistad, you can see, is just completely collapsed. It's turned yellow. Now I did clip a bunch of it off. If there weren't so many bees on it, I would have cut it all the way down. And then we just had kept that buddleia limping along, and then just sitting in, ankle deep mud, just put the nail in the coffin of that buddleia. I don't think it's gonna come back. And then you can see this whole mess here of the yellow leaves and the wilting of that salvia leucantha. It's just pure mud down in here. Fortunately, the sweet potato vine didn't mind. And we've got this pink salvia here that looks okay yesterday. Now it's not looking great. I bought a little more to try to flush it out and to take care of this mess in the middle. And all the little seeds that I had planted mostly have washed away. There's 1 or 2 here and there that have come up, but pretty much the seeds that I had planted last week just all washed away. Also, this, my favorite pretty parasols coneflower, which has just looked terrific here and here. You can see it's right by the sprinkler head. It's just not doing well. I'm not sure if we've killed it with too much water. These are sort of alive, but it's not good, folks. So I may be having to replace some things as we go. And then the little zinnia called, what's it called? Oh no, that's something different. This is called Paul Voth daylily. I've forgotten about that. And they look like they're gonna give me some flowers. Those are my last minute snap decision to buy extra daylilies. So I'm excited to see those. They look like they have kind of small flowers, but I'm excited to see what they look like. I planted a bunch more. I was able to find some fennel in here in case I've got some butterflies coming. The old big fennel pooped out on us. Here's another thing that seems to be, this looked fine yesterday, and now disaster seems to be bleeding over into here. Too much water. You can see the state of my basil. It was fine for a couple days, and then yesterday I came out to this droop. I just think it's just standing in water. It did give me a chance. I cut a whole bunch of stuff down, clean out the pond a little bit. We're still working on getting the water clear. But the Band-Aid I put on this was, I put my little garden, a little trellis thingy in the middle. I moved it, and then I bought this pretty pot and I put a gomphrena which is straw flower, and I put some hot pink vinca, and then also some, oh gosh, what's that pink? It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, I put that there. This is all just a camouflage. The dead stump of the buddleia, it's just too wet for me even to go try to dig it out at this point. It would just create more mud. But this is the view from my kitchen window, and so I wanted to be able to see something pretty and not that dead stump. Oh, that's phlox. That pale pink is phlox. Oh, hello. We need a little bit more attention. Hello. This amazing, nearly wild rose, I mean, it just stands up to the heat. It doesn't get black spot. I just have no problems with it at all. And of course, zinnias are great, but I do have a little bit of die-off right here, and I don't know if that has to do with all the water as well. Now we're getting further and further away. The section of sprinklers that stayed on was back in there, and so the further we get this direction, the less muddy it seems to be. And here's that wacky little double-headed coneflower, which just turned out just awesome. So much fun. Hello. The other disaster was the string lights came down. We found them laying on the ground. And so I think either the squirrels chewed through the zip ties up there, or they just maybe broke. But they were really, I realized, holding up a lot of the weight of this Mrs. B.R. Cant rose. And so now I'm going to have to do some work tying that up on its trellis and keeping it upright. But this rose is going to get a big trim soon. It's in pretty sad shape. Another thing that was seems to be a one of the victims of the Great Flood is this little salvia. It was fine before we left last week, and here it is. It's all just shriveled. I think it just couldn't take all of that water. And some other things as well. Some of these I've had to trim back some of this little blue salvia as well. I moved this, I dug it up out of another pot and put it here, and it really just needs a little more sunshine. And so I'm slowly moving it from deep shade back here. Just kind of put it in the middle. It's going to get a couple of hours of sun here, and in a couple of weeks, week or so, I'll put it back up here in the sun. But I'm just letting it sort of slowly make its way back in. These super fun cactus flowered zinnias are so wonderful. They're sort of holding the show here. Another thing that didn't like all of that water is this Euphorbia Diamond Frost. And then another thing I'm a little bit worried about losing right now are these Scabiosa. Looks like I've kind of got one that's dying here. That one's hanging on. These don't look great. I think maybe that one's going to be all right. I hope. And then this huge piece of Diamond Frost as well just collapsed, wilted, turned yellow. It looks pretty bad. And then this, you can just see the mud. And this had just laid down all the way. I just went ahead. I got new loppers, and I cut that back. I don't know if that was a great idea. And then I gave a big chop to this Kufia, which seems to be fine with all the water. But are you saying hello to your kitty? You're so funny. And then you can see just the complete mud pit back here. And then even the, which I was surprised by, the fire spike seems to have had a problem with it. Way over here, it's fine. The closer you get to where the sprinklers didn't ever go off, you can see it's just a mess. So I'm trying to look at this as an opportunity. I really thought I would replace this salvia anyway. I was thinking about it, and so maybe this is the push I needed to do that. The salvia uliginosa also looks terrible after all that water. But again, the further you get closer to this edge, it seems all right. So I think it was just that one section of the yard that got too much water. And so this still looks pretty nice back here. And I've tried to, I added a couple of little things, a little bit more of this vinca in here. I really like this color. And then this coleus is really beautiful. And I just saw online, watching another video, how easy it is to just clip this off and pop it in some water, and it will just root in the water. And I think I might propagate some of that. Hello. And then the 4 o'clocks always look pretty in the afternoon. I've got all the Turk's cap, little pale, sort of salmony pink Turk's caps over there. And then these things are just weeds as far as I know, but they sure look like hydrangeas, don't they? I don't have any of this kind of hydrangea in the yard, so I decided I would just let these. A whole bunch of stuff died back here, so I've just let those weeds go. And I still have my water out for the creatures. And then some things I need to trim back. I need to probably get in here and trim this salvia uliginosa back. It gets kind of floppy in the end of the summer and really even midsummer, and it takes such, you can cut it almost to the ground. It always comes back. Hello. This great grass. And then I've kind of got some pots out close to the just out in the sun a little bit, but it's supposed to rain so much, and so many of the I've had to replace so many succulents because they've just gotten soaked and stayed wet and rotted. And so I replaced some, so I'm putting them in a little bit of sun, but if it's gonna really rain, it's no big deal to pop them up under the rain. So there's my bit of a disaster. I'm loving this grass, this purple, this pink muley grass. Is just, it's finally come into its own, and it's so pretty. So many more little inflorescences. It's all of a sudden, to me, just done what I hoped. It just looks fantastic. And then I'll end on, once again, this begonia over here, to step over my disaster number 2 here. Oh, before I go, one of the things I did was there were a bunch of succulents that had just fallen apart in all the rain. I took any leaves that were still firm and put them in. This is just vermiculite. And let's see if I can get that. You can see there's a little plant growing on the end of that leaf. And so I just laid every little leaf. This one you can see, I don't know if you can see little roots growing off the end of that. And I just have them here so that the roots can go down into the vermiculite, but I'm not going to water them at all. I'm just going to let them be dry, but out of direct sunlight. And then here, this begonia is the one non-disaster of the weekend we were gone. It's just gorgeous. All right, thank you guys for taking a little walk with me. Say goodbye, Mrs. Doubtfire.